Okay, let's unpack this. Every year, it's that sort of nervous, wait for the letter about rent, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're kind of hoping for a freeze, maybe?
Yeah, or at least something small.
Exactly. But, well, this year, that hope's pretty much gone. We're diving into something huge for so many people here in the Netherlands, the housing market, and, yeah, those rent hikes coming up.
Precisely. Minister Kaiser, she's officially pulled back that bill, the one that was meant to pause rent increases for social housing.
Pulled it back entirely.
Yep. So what that means, plain and simple, is that starting July 1st, 2025, rents are going up. And that's for everyone, all sectors, social housing, mid-range, private sector too.
Right across the board.
Right. So our mission today really is to cut through the confusion, lay out the facts, give you the background on why this is happening, and maybe most importantly, talk about the practical steps you as a renter can actually take. You know, understand what this means for your wallet each month.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Rent adjustments here, they're not just pulled out of thin air, are they? There's a process.
No, definitely not arbitrary. It's an annual thing. Landlords adjust the net rent that's a basic rent before service costs.
And it depends on what?
Well, it's based on your housing type, what you're paying now, and even your income level can factor in.
Got it. And those letters?
Yeah.
They're already landed on doormats.
Oh, yeah. Many of you have probably already got them, outlining the new rent price starting July 1st.
Right. And behind this, there was a bit of political drama you mentioned about that freeze that didn't happen.
Yeah, quite a bit, actually. So this idea to freeze social rent increases for 2025 and 2026, it was part of the spring memorandum that's the government's big financial plan.
And it had support initially.
It did, yeah. But then the Council of State, they're like the top independent advisors on laws, they raised some serious red flags.
About what specifically?
Mainly about the money. They were worried there wasn't enough structural compensation plan for the housing associations. Their argument was, look, without that guarantee, these associations can't borrow the cash they need to build new places or fix up the old ones, you know, make them more energy efficient.
So a funding gap issue.
Exactly. And then, to make things even trickier, the PVV, one of the main coalition parties, well, they left the government.
Oh, right.
Which basically made it impossible to get the bill passed through Parliament, the States General. So, poof, rent freeze, gone. History.
Wow. That really shows the tension, doesn't it? Because for so many people listening, it must feel completely backwards. Things are expensive, people are struggling. Why let rents go up now?
It's a totally fair question. And the government, they do have their reasons laid out. Their line is, look, everything costs more now. Building materials, paying workers, energy, it's all gone up.
Sure, inflation's real.
Right. And at the same time, these housing corporations, they're being pushed hard to build more homes, upgrade the ones they have, make them greener.
Which all costs money.
Exactly. Loads of it. And it's long-term investment. So the argument goes, if you don't allow rents to increase, the whole system just grinds to a halt. The associations can't get loans, they can't invest, and that hurts the housing supply in the long run. It's kind of presented as, you know, necessary pain for future gain.
Okay. I get the logic, even if it's tough to swallow. So that's the why. Let's get down to the brass tacks then, the actual numbers. How much are we talking, and who exactly is going to feel this? Because you said it's everyone.
Yes, absolutely everyone. The government sets legal maximums each year. So for 2025, if you're in social housing, your rent could go up by as much as 5%.
5%.
But, and this is a key detail, if your income is higher over $57,143 for a single person or $66,126 for a household, your specific increase could be up to €100 per month. It's an income-dependent hike within social housing.
Right, okay. And for other sectors?
For mid-range rentals, the cap is higher up to 7.7%. And for private sector or free sector rentals, it's capped at 4.1%.
Okay, 5%, 7.7%, 4.1%. This leads straight to that classic frustration, doesn't it? Why is my neighbor paying X and I'm paying Y? Their rent barely went up. It feels so random sometimes.
It really does feel that way, I know. Like, there's no logic. But believe it or not, there is a system behind why increases differ, even for similar-looking places. It's just, well, it's pretty complex.
Go on.
Okay, so think about all the variables. Your income category, like we just mentioned, the actual size of your place, square meters, how energy efficient is it, that matters. And then there's this whole points system for the property itself.
Point system?
Yeah, for social and mid-range housing. Plus, even units next door might have different WOZ values, that's the official property value, or one might technically be social and the other mid-range.
Okay.
And then you add in things like maybe one tenant got a discount years ago, or someone has a specific rent freeze because of very low income or a medical situation. So yeah, it's complicated, but not actually random.
Right, not just throwing darts at a board then. So how are these specific increases calculated? You mentioned the point system.
Exactly. For social and mid-range places, it's heavily based on points. Things like square meters, number of rooms, the energy label, your EPC rating, and that WOZ value all contribute points.
More points means?
More points means a higher maximum rent the landlord is legally allowed to charge for that specific home. But crucially, they don't have to charge the max. They can choose to charge less.
Okay. And the private sector? Is that different?
Yeah, that's generally more market-driven. These places usually have enough points, often over 187, to be outside the regulated system. So increases are often based on market evaluations by real estate agents, though still capped at that 4.1% for this year.
Gotcha. And what about things like garages or shops?
Commercial spaces. Yeah, they also have adjustments, but they follow a completely different set of rules, not tied to the residential ones we're discussing.
Okay. So, hearing all this, it's easy to feel a bit powerless, Like the litter arrives and that's just it. But are there actually things we can do? Any levers we can pull?
That's the really important question, and yes, you're not totally without options. Now, stopping the increase altogether, that only happens if you file an official objection before the deadline, or if you have some specific prior arrangement.
Right, so objections are key.
Yes. But there's also a specific route for rent reduction, particularly if you're in social housing.
Okay, tell me more about that.
You might be eligible for a reduction if, say, your income dropped quite a bit in 2024, maybe this year, 2025, or perhaps you became chronically ill, or your household changed, maybe someone moved out and you're living alone now, or just with fewer people.
And if that happens, you can apply for a lower rent.
Potentially, yes. But there's the reduced rent still has to be below the legal maximum allowed for that home based on its points. It can't go lower than that floor, essentially.
Understood. Now, you mentioned income playing a role several times. Let's talk about something you flagged earlier, the kind of quirky but really vital role of the tax authorities in all this.
Yes, this is super important to grasp. Your housing association, they don't actually get your precise salary details from the tax authorities.
No. What do they get?
They get an income category. Think of it like a band. Low income, middle income, higher income. It's based on tax data from a specific point in the past.
A snapshot in time, basically.
Exactly. And that's the crucial bit. They base the allowed rent increase, especially those higher 100 hikes in social housing, on the category you were in when that snapshot was taken.
So if my income has dropped since then
the landlord might be calculating your increase based on old, incorrect information. They wouldn't know your situation has changed.
So they don't get live updates.
No. Which means, and this is really the key takeaway here, if your income has gone down significantly, it is absolutely your responsibility to raise your hand and file that objection. They won't know otherwise. You have to tell them.
Wow, okay. That's critical. So putting it all together, what are the absolute must-know practical steps and deadlines here?
Okay, number one, the increases take effect on July 1st, 2025. Mark that date.
July 1st, got it.
Number two, if you want to object for any reason, whether it's income change, you think the points are wrong, whatever, you must file that objection before July 1st, 2025.
Before, not on the day.
Correct. Before July 1st, dig out that rent letter you received, check the proposed increase carefully.
And how do you object? Is it difficult?
Thankfully, no. It's usually free, and often you can do it online through your housing provider's website or sometimes the rent tribunal site. You'll need proof, of course.
Like what?
Things like recent tax assessments if it's income related, maybe a doctor's note for chronic illness, or official documents showing who lives in the house now if the composition changed.
Okay. And where can people find reliable info?
The government's website, ricsoverheid.nl, has the official rules and often tools or model letters you can use. Honestly, if you're unsure about anything, just ask. Ask your landlord, check the website. It's much better to ask now than end up paying more than you should later.
Absolutely. So, bottom line, rent increases are coming. Definitely not fun news.
Yeah.
But understanding the why and the how much helps. And knowing that July 1st deadline is looming.
It's crucial.
And that you do have options, especially around objections and potential reductions based on income changes. It's about knowing your situation and acting on it.
That's exactly it. Look, rent increases are tough. Nobody likes them. We get that.
Right.
But understanding the system, knowing your rights, that really does give you some power back.
Taking control where you can.
Yes, and acting before July 1st could genuinely save you money each month. Which, let's be honest, means more cash for the things that actually make life enjoyable, right?
Exactly.
Whether that's, I don't know, trying out a new restaurant, going to a festival, or, yeah, maybe just enjoying an extra Stroop waffle without feeling guilty.